So we're getting closer and closer to the end of this podcast and this episode, not the whole thing. Some of you might be happy about me saying the whole thing, but no, just this episode. And so today we are talking about, in this clip, we're talking about the Kagawa Prefecture of Japan. In case you were like, wait, is that in like Idaho? No, it is Japan. Passes an ordinance restricting children's video game playing time. Never have I seen something like this. That is not like about something like horrific, that's like really bad.
Yeah.
But that still shows how much of a fun-hating asshole you are. Look, Kagawa Prefecture, I'm sure y'all are great, okay? I would love to go there one day. But come the fuck on. Let's just be... And look, this isn't like... I understand how some of you may look at the both of us and go, oh, of course these two are going to defend. But hold on. Hold on, okay? Just because my neck beard extends to my feet does not mean. Look, it's just one whole hair. It doesn't end. It's just one hair. Look, I'm just trying to say this much, okay? I understand that and also, by the way, there is a bias because we have a gaming channel those guys play. So let me get that out of the way for a second, okay? I understand that when I was a wee little one, I was still the same height, but I have not grown. But I was like 8. I probably should have played less video games. Okay, I understand that. I played too many video games. I'm fully admitting that. You and I Tristan, you played an hour a night if you were lucky. I played for 5 hours a day. We are not the same. I
wasn't a saint either in restricting my time, but that doesn't mean I didn't get my shit done.
But that's the issue. When you I understand them being a little bit wary. I understand them being a little bit wary, okay, the prefect, because if you guys don't know, there's a lot of shit going on around the world right now.
Right.
So these kids aren't going to school.
Yeah.
So I understand why they feel this way. But okay. The Kagawa, let's break this down for all y'all, right? Break it down. The Kagawa Prefecture Assembly passed an ordinance on Wednesday, which was not this past Wednesday, but on Wednesday, restricting video game playing time among children in a bid to combat video game addiction. Now, you might be thinking, well, that does actually exist. There are some, I could swear it was Korea. I feel bad if it wasn't, but there were people like homeless, but still had enough money just to be in computer centers, like where you could like rent out a computer for the day and like play games. And all they would do all day is play games. They wouldn't shower, or they'd go to like some like shelter to shower. Like there are problems. There are people who have problems.
That becomes a problem.
Yes, but it isn't based on the video game itself, and that's where I have a problem. Like I think it was recently. It wasn't the WHO. I forgot who it was. Haha. But seriously, it wasn't the World Health Organization. But I forgot. Someone came out and said something like, video games. There is such a thing as video game addiction. And it's like, well, no. There's addictions to other things or other issues that lead you down that path, but it's not like video games themselves, unless you're talking about things like microtransactions, are inherently addictive.
Right.
Anyway.
Microtransactions, gambling.
You can argue that they are inherently addictive.
But, or chance-based gotcha systems is the phrase that they use in the article.
Yes. However, so as I'm going through the article, you jumped ahead of me, but it's okay. That was good. Says the ordinance will take effect on April 1st and marks the first time a local government in Japan has set guidelines restricting video game and smartphone usage. See, you talk about smartphone, maybe. Not shitting on all smartphone games, but I could understand being worried about certain types of monopolistic practices in smartphone games. Not trying to shit on all of them, though, but still. Anyway, so the non-binding guidelines. By the way, I love that it's non-binding, which means that you're not going to go to jail for it, but hey, don't do it. It's like, oh, okay, of course, I won't do it. So the non-binding guidelines will restrict children under the age of 18 to 60 minutes of video game playing or smartphone usage, by the way. So that means you could just be like scrolling through Facebook Facebook.
Yeah.
Japan doesn't have Facebook, or at least it's not as popular. I think, what do they have? Weibo?
No idea.
Was it Weibo? No, that's China. Let me see. Yeah, Weibo is China, right?
But yeah, I mean,
Yes, Chinese microblogging site. I forgot what Japan
right.
has. That's basically a Facebook more popular equivalent. Anyway, so sorry.
Yeah.
So it's 60 minutes of video game playing or smartphone usage per weekday and 90 minutes on the weekends. Are they not merciful? It would also forbid children under the age of 18, under the age of 18, by the way, not like 10, 12, 13. I understand kids maybe gorging on this a bit too much, but it would also forbid children under the age of 18 from using game devices after 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. for children under the age of 12. For me, if you're under the age of 12, it should be even before 9 p.m. Let's just keep it real. I'm not saying, again, we're talking about during the weekdays.
Yeah.
But the prefecture has no plans to enforce penalties on households that do not comply with the guidelines and they just ask that households apply rules under their own discretion. The
And
government...
glad they've
Yeah.
kept it that way.
I know, but so the government also provide information and support for parents and schools regarding measures for combating video game addiction. That actually starts to make sense. I'm like, you know what, that's fair. The ordinance further requests that companies which develop or distribute games refrain from making games that may exacerbate addictive or gambling behaviors. Awesome. Such as microtransactions and chance-based gotcha systems. See, that all starts to make sense to me. I'm like, yeah, that's great. But like, why can't a kid like play Dragon Quest for more than 1 hour a day if their parents are like, you got your shit done?
Yeah.
You know,
right.
and then they're like, oh, little Shinichi, you got your shit done. You want to play Dragon Quest for 3 hours? So be it. Why is this kid allowed, this fictional Shinichi that I've made up in my head, why is he allowed to watch movies for hours and hours on end and watch anime for hours and hours on end, but for some reason, playing video games for more than an hour
Oh yeah, no,
is terrifying. That's where I'm like, hey, listen, I understand how I look, okay? I'm just saying, I think that there's a problem here.
Yeah,
Okay?
and I mean, just think about even here, all the people that are on their phones constantly, nonstop, scrolling through whatever social media feed.
Yeah, like, there shouldn't be a government ordinance or anything like that about, restricting that amongst children. It should be up to the parents.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, you can then, if you think that that's considered abuse, let's say, like the child is facing neglect because, hear me out, Tristan, they're playing 8 hours of games a day.
Okay, yeah.
And they're not getting anything done.
The game is not the child's babysitter.
Yes. There's a difference between that and saying, oh, you're only supposed to do it for 1 hour a day. And then also, I just love but we're not going to enforce the rule. And it's just like, but then why are you even, you're just trying to make it seem like, listen, we know what's up and what's good for the kids. So you should too. But we're not actually going to do anything about it. But like, we know, like, it makes it seem like they're just like, how great are we?
Right. I mean, it also seems though like the last paragraph of the article goes into the issue was open to public comment between January and February, and out of the 2,615 comments, 2,269 were in favor. So.
Well, but again, but what's the sample size?
No, yeah, that's just everyone who either. Now I don't know how the system works for them.
It's public comment, which means that it could easily be in person, and everyone in that area could just be old as fuck. I mean, and also, are kids going to be there saying, I would like to play my video games? Like, are kids really going to fucking go there?
Yeah.
Like, no, it's going to be an older generation that's like, exactly, those kids, they shouldn't be playing this. They should be doing other things like studying or dating, but only of the opposite sex. It's just like, all right, well, because they gotta make those babies, and it's just like, come on, guys, really?
Someone needs to be around to take care of my ass when I can't do it anymore.
You already can't. If you sound like that, you already can't. No, but but it's funny though. Online though, the proposals drew a lot of criticism, and some were saying, like we are, it's a little bit too much. Like if you were like, hey, if you wanted to say something like this, I would still be against it. But if they were like, only 3 hours a day, okay. Because again, it's assuming that, I don't know what they're thinking. Like, well, it's only an hour a day because you're watching 1 hour of anime, and then you're doing all your homework and your studies and your cram sessions, and then you play only an hour of video games. That's how it works, right? And it's just like, you've never even heard of an RPG, have you?
And then you get your definite 8 hours of sleep, and then you go to your part-time job or school. Wait, I'm 12. Your part-time job. Wait a minute.
Yeah, no, like, Well, actually, I'm pretty sure. While they might have lifted some restrictions on that, I'm pretty sure Japan actually does not is not a big. They're not big fans of. It might just depend prefecture to prefecture now, but they weren't the biggest fans of teenagers actually working because they're like, listen, like you really should be focusing on your studies,
Right.
which I commend them for that. The problem, of course, is like in the U.S., cost of living does go up. And so there are some kids that are like, no, 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 literally my house needs to make ends meet. So
I need to work.
I think that has changed over time, but I do remember back in the day when we were in high school reading up on that, and it was like, oh, that's interesting because in the U.S. they're like, you're gonna get that job, and it's like, I'm in high school.
Yeah.
Do you really want to trust me with anything right now?
Yeah. And of course,
I mean anything. Um,
and businesses were
oh,
generally against this
no,
as well.
it was hilarious.
Go
67 out
figure.
of 67 out of 71 businesses submitted comments opposing the ordinance, while none voiced support. So there were like 4 businesses that were like, all right, we're just going to step back. But 67 out of 71. Like Nintendo. Nintendo is like snapping its fingers that are like, we're going to break your Nico Nico kneecaps if you if you ever try to affect our bottom line. Mario is just like, do you want me to take care of him, paisano?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that a video game can't become a vice for some people, but there's usually there are other underlying reasons for that addictive behavior.
Like you could be addicted to anime, you could be addicted to manga, you could
Right.
be addicted to anything. Now, again, I don't want to use that as some new agey way to say, so there should be no categorizing anything. Like, again, if
No.
we're looking at gotcha-based games, which, to be
Right.
fair, if because you and I are in the U.S., Tristan, and maybe that's actually really a big problem in Japan, and we're missing that article, missing that context,
Yeah.
because this article was posted by the Japan Times, being picked up by
Right.
Anime News Network, where we have it listed in description box down below. But if we're missing that context, so be it. But just coming at this from a U.S. context where microtransactions do suck,
Yeah.
but you also have a ton of games without them still, even with the games that do have them.
I've seen friends playing mobile games that are chance-based gotcha systems. Granted, there's
Yeah.
no problems with it.
Yeah. But no, what I'm saying is that, like,
But
yes, I'm just saying that, like, I understand them wanting to, like, I think they should just say, hey, listen, if it's just a gotcha game, only an hour. Anything else, different, 3 hours or something, because it's not all video games. I'll fully admit. What was that?
it's a different animal.
It's a very different animal, You're not going to sit around and, even if you like the game, I wouldn't be like, Tristan, are you okay? You're like, I haven't gone to work. I think they let me go. And I'm like, oh my God, what have you been playing? You're like, Disney's Dinosaur. It's just consuming me. It's like, I don't know. Not really, man. Like, you can, you can turn it off. So that's where I stand with this.
Yeah, it just seems an idea it should be left up to families and your household. Like it says, the bottom line is it's your household, it's your rules. Like,
until it becomes a problem for the public,
yeah,
or a problem where your kid's not going to school. But then there are already laws on the laws on the books for that. If your kid's not going to school because of quote unquote video game addiction, well, then your kid's not going to school. There's truancy laws, at least in the U.S. I'm going to assume it's true in Japan too.
right.
There's laws to make sure that to keep your kid in line, you don't have to get to that point. And again, it's not even like a health hazard. Like I remember in New York a while back, who was it? I forgot what mayor was it. It was the mayor, I thought, not the governor, who wanted to like ban certain sizes of sodas. And people got so up in arms about that, like,
Right. Yeah.
they were like, look, I'll give away all my other freedoms online, but you take my soft drinks and I swear to God.
Yeah, right.
So what I'm getting at, though, here is, Tristan, is, at the very least, that could actually kill you. Directly.
Yeah.
Like, a soft drink could directly kill you. This cannot. So, I'm just putting that this can't. So, it's just so silly to regulate this in that way. That's kind of... We didn't want to seem like, angry dudes about this. It just kind of came off as, like, kind of silly, at the least.
Yeah, exactly.
But so tell us what you think about this. You might be angrier. Tell us what you think about this in the comments section down below.